Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this panel at Sportv Series Europe and CEE. Today, I have the honor to welcome Andrej Miklanek from Slovak Telekom and T-Mobile Czech Republic, and Alan Záruba from Nova Group. So over the next 40 minutes, we will discuss their strategies and the challenges they're facing regarding the sports distribution in Czech Republic and Slovakia. So touching different topics such as monetization, OTTs, the inflation of the rights fees, or the evolution of competition in those markets. So if you have any questions for them, you can write them down in the chat or in the Q&A box, and we will take some time to answer them at the end of the webinar. And please make sure to specify to whom your question is directed. But first, before launching the discussion, maybe a few elements of context. So for all of you who are not based in Europe, but actually also for those who are, it's always useful to re-examine a bit the basics about a region before studying it. So the CEE region is mainly composed of many small countries. In terms of population, if you don't include Poland or Ukraine or Romania, for example, small countries with a high number of different languages, so which could represent a barrier for new entrants in the area, in the region. It's also interesting to take the GDP data into account, since customers' budget and so ARPUs are lower than in Western Europe, for example. And that's something that will logically have an impact on the strategy of broadcasters. Besides customer budget, another hardship for TV operators will lie in the quality of broadband infrastructures. So for OTT services, obviously, and IPTV, you need the internet to thrive. So having a look here at the internet penetration is crucial. So internet penetration in the CEE region is not as high as in Western Europe. However, in CEE, next generation accesses and mainly FTTH connections are growing at a fast pace and have become the main broadband access. So indeed, as previous broadband networks and infrastructure were not fully developed, it may have been easier for Central and Eastern European countries and operators to build optical fiber networks directly instead of renouncing to and switching from DSL or copper-based internet. What's interesting the most here today is the pay TV penetration. So the CEE region has significant disparities in terms of pay TV penetration. So the graph on the left includes every country in the region. So at a regional scale, we can see that pay TV adoption is increasing, but it's a big picture. And some countries are far more advanced than others. So if we have a look at some markets here on the right, you can observe countries with a comparatively low pay TV penetration. So for example, Czech Republic with around 50%. While pay TV penetration is close to 100% in Slovakia or in Romania, for example. And not only the level of penetration is different, but there is also heterogeneity in terms of technology. So where DTH can be the leading TV platforms and countries, in other countries, like Romania, it will be cable, which will be the most common technology to access TV. So after this introduction, and now we have a bit more elements of context in mind, I think it's time for me to welcome my panelists today. So Alan and Andrej, thank you for being here. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and give us a brief overview of your responsibilities inside your respective companies and the activities of your companies when it comes to TV and sport. So Alan, if you want to start.
Guillaume, thank you for having me for this conference. Very interesting topics ahead. I have something like almost 25 years of experience in design and visual communication, marketing, TV branding, working first as art director for public TV for 5 years. Then since 2014, I'm creative director of TV Nova Group, where I manage select all the projects from design, promo, marketing, up to special projects within the field of CME countries, special projects which are from communication projects until digital communication. And on behalf of TV Nova, I also work closely with the brands we broadcasting NBA, NHL for Czech and Slovak territory. In the market, I'm involved in special marketing and design consultancy for Czech Floorball, Ice Hockey Federation, Basketball Federation. So I somehow orientate myself within the sport. But what is the most important thing, that I am a passionate sport fan. So that I think requires me for the work, and the work is a hobby.
Okay, thanks.
My name is Andrej. Hello to everyone. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Andrej. We have with Alan common history in public broadcasting, because I were in Slovak television, which is the public broadcaster in Slovakia as well. I was head of sport redaction for a long time. After that, I moved to the commercial sector, and now I'm in our terminology, marketing expert, which is person responsible for acquiring linear and non-linear and sports content for Slovak Telekom and T-Mobile. Probably you know that Slovak Telekom and T-Mobile are the daughter company of the Deutsche Telekom group, as 6 other telco companies in different European countries. So maybe to our position on the market, Slovak Telekom in Slovakia, as was mentioned, Slovakia is really pay TV market with 95% of pay TV penetration. Slovak Telekom is a market leader in terms of pay TV broadcasting. We have around 700,000 subscribers, which is 30% market share. And we are number 3 on the mobile market in Slovakia. In Czech Republic, a situation a little bit different. We are number 4 in pay TV market and number 1 in the mobile market, meaning T-Mobile. But Czech market is really perspective from this point of view, because the space to grow of pay TV penetration is absolutely high. And from this perspective, we see our changes and our opportunities in Czech market very, very well.
Okay, thank you both. And indeed, yeah, as we said, Czech Republic and Slovakia are quite different markets, and we'll see how it changes your strategy from one country to another. But maybe to start with the basics and how to build a sports portfolio. So how do you arbitrate between acquiring rights with a local momentum, with local leagues, and between those leagues, and also with leagues more international, with may or have a Czech or Slovak player at some points and is not playing anymore? So how do you arbitrate between these acquisitions of different type of leagues, and how does it have an impact on the viewership?
If I can start, maybe
yeah, sure.
we will be supplementing with Andrej quite often with this. Well, Czech market, Czech and Slovak markets are special in the field that the most important sports here are football and ice hockey. Football, that's not a surprise because it's anywhere else, but ice hockey is quite something, because it's a sport for 6-7 countries, I think. And the market, especially the Czech market, but I think is similar in Slovak market, is also special for broadcasters, that the viewers are preferring to watch sports with a strong Czech or Slovak trace. I can name tennis, cycling. We earlier spoke about Peter Sagan. Basketball. We have just one basketball player in NBA, Tomas Satoransky, but his games are obviously watched much more than the other games with LeBron James, which is, I think, quite curious. Speed skating, downhill skiing in Slovakia, biathlon, and some of the new sports which are rising on the market, like floorball, which is extremely popular among young generations. So Czech and Slovak fans love the stories with these around these local sport heroes attending the global leagues. And they love to watch these sports in pubs and then chat endlessly about what was done, what should be done, and what the hero or our heroes did. And this is, I think, the specific of the Czech and Slovak market. But Andrej, you can carry on.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Maybe I would like to offer our view on several levels how we are looking on the sport. First, sport is we have sport is on the linear level. We have in our portfolio all linear sport channels. They are available like Eurosport, Sport1, Sport2, Arena Sport, and other. But maybe 12 years ago was made a strategic decision in our top management to go that way, that we will acquire sport on exclusive basis. And we create several sport channels called DigiSport. We have actually 3 DigiSport channels, and we locked some very interesting sport rights on this channel. We have these sports on exclusive basis. I can name some topics that we have, like Premier League. Premier League is not a good example, but because Premier League we have on another channel that is on co-exclusive basis. But La Liga, Bundesliga, and other really interesting sports league, cycling, tennis, you name it. And why we did it? Because sports, from our perspective, is something like door opener. We need to have some competitive advantage among our competitors on the market, meaning UPC, maybe Orange, maybe other TV provider. I mean, pay TV provider, and exactly these channels and these sports work as a differentiation factor and help us to bring new customers. They are very strong, but behind this logic, sport is really expensive, and honestly, on pay TV business in our country is not realistic to create the real business case only on TV subscription. So our strategy from the beginning was to open the door because of sports to the market, acquire as much subscribers as we can. They are addicted or they are keen to see sport, and then in the second or first step, put them in our other fixed and mobile proposition, like internet, like mobile proposition, postpaid, prepaid, and so on. And what I can say is that it works because as said, we are number one on the market. There is a second angle that sports works somehow like, I'm thinking if I can use this word, but why not? It works like opium, because if you once have this very expensive sport, you have to prolong the contract or supply the sport with other sport, maybe more expensive, because the people, they came to you because of sports, are addicted to these sports. So it's something like little trap to acquire these sports. But we did this, we go this way, and this is our decision, and we are really satisfied with the results. And regarding the differences between the local and international sport, of course, the highest viewership in the Slovak history in people meter measurement, which is maybe 12 years long in Slovakia, was the final in the World Championship in ice hockey between Slovakia and Russia in 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Slovakia won that, and the viewership was 2.6 million households on 1.6 million households on 2.1 million households market. So to this number you can count the out of home viewership. So more or less all Slovaks watch this this event. So this is something what proved the incredible power of sport, of course, especially on the local level.
Well, in little adding in Czech market, as we have, it was mentioned, 50-50 FTA to pay TV. We have in TV Nova a strategy that we have sport channels in our wide portfolio. So there is a great synergy between FTA and pay TV channels, and the right holders understand that as well. So it's a kind of helping each other, but obviously once the situation is turning towards the pay TV field, the strategy has to be more viewed from the point of view of Andrej mentioned.
Yeah. Maybe if I can add, this sport is part of very sophisticated strategy. Our partners, like for instance, the AMC and Discovery, because AMC has in portfolio maybe 10 channels, and 2 of them are the sport channels, and they made something like hard bundling. So with other words, if you will have Sport 1 and Sport 2, you have to have other 10, maybe 8 channels. Then do not need necessarily, but you have to buy them because of those sport channels. So sport is somehow used for the big partners as a driver of the business connected to non-sport channels.
Yeah, and here I want to jump on what you've said, Andrej, about, of course, sports rights acquisition as a huge cost, and it's becoming more and more expensive over the last years, and especially if you want exclusivity. So I wanted to ask both of you, so what impact has it on your strategies, the fact that rights are getting more expensive and more expensive? So for example, Alan, are you working on building close relationships with leagues or with federation so that the tender to allow the rights will also be more easier, even if you're not ready to pay more, but thanks to your strong relationship with the brand and the activation you've made, well, it makes great synergy between both of you.
Yeah, very good question. Actually, we do a lot of activation and a special content with our long-term brands which we hold, and the rights for it, NBA, NHL, or UFC, and so they are worldwide established brands, and we are very aware of the fact that they are attractive also for the other players in the market. So we try, and we've been really successful in creating a close relationship with the leagues, creating additional content, not only the fans who are watching us, but also to get interconnected with the clubs. For example, we are one of the few broadcasters in Europe, I think, who established a direct link with one of the teams in NBA when Tomáš Satoranský was playing for Washington Wizards. And we were very successful. We did a common event between this club and us for the funds and special broadcasting. We do support NBA Junior League. We do a lot of special events with NHL because, again, mentioned ice hockey. But one good thing which I would like to mention is that in the I think 4 years ago, it was 2015, so 5 years ago, we started to build up a brand of the darts. It was no sport in the Czech territory. Well, it was popular, but not so much as it is now. And it's actually the success of our strategy to support this sport, introduce it to the fans. And now we are one of the organizers of the largest tournament, which unfortunately due to the COVID-19 can't happen this autumn, but every year is happening in Prague, Nova Sport Cup. And we broadcasting the league, the Champions League for darts, and also created special relationships with all the big figures of that sport, doing special interviews and sport documentaries. So it's an additional content which helped the sport spread across the region. And now we are in awkward situation because when we increase the awareness of the value of the content, we also have to be the ones who have to pay for the increased value at the very end, because obviously the value is uplifted, and we are successful so far. So far so good. But I just want to mention this interesting thing. So if you're opposing to the inflation of rights by other means, by establishing a special content, direct ties with the brands, you have to be aware that you are the part of building up great value and great content, which then might hit back to you with a higher price of the rights at the very end. But that's a paradox situation, which I didn't find unfortunate. I think it's our role to be, linked with the brands and to be on the market with this strategy.
Yeah. To the rising value of the, not value, but price of the content rights, value as well, of course. Maybe 5 years ago, we had all interesting sport, excluding the domestic sport on the national level in our portfolio, starting with Champions League to Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, cycling, you name it. And we came to the point that it was not possible to keep all the sports behind our paywall, because it was really too expensive, even in situation that we were the biggest operator on the Slovak market, especially. So we really tried to find a solution, and we came to the conclusion that we open discussion with our partners. And the result is that now we have a very special and very good looking channel called Premier Sport, collecting all English football like Premier League and FA Cup and others. And this Premier Sport we are producing and rights acquiring with cooperation with Orange in Slovakia, and O2 and Tele in the Czech Republic. It's an open model. It must be open model because of limitation of domestic law, of course. So everyone is able to join us, but of course the entry ticket is really expensive because the rights are really expensive. But maybe to answer your question, Guillaume, this could be a way how to keep sport at least on semi-exclusive basis, meaning some kind of really exclusive sport. And the second part of sport, we still have on exclusive basis for Slovak Telekom and T-Mobile as well. Maybe this could be a way how to keep the sport in our portfolio even the prices are going tender by tender on skyrockets values.
Yeah, and still on that, tender after tender, since rights are getting more and more expensive, sometimes you might have to lose some rights. And since we know that sport is a bit of the bread and butter for pay TV operators to drive subscription, but because it's a key content. So for example, Andrej, with it, I think it happened to you with the Champions League. So did you notice any churn or any because of the?
It's a very good question. A very good question, Guillaume, because we was a little bit afraid. It was we decided to not for everyone to go to this tender with strategy, whatever cost it should be, we will pay. So we came to the limit, and we accept that Orange and O2 acquire these rights. And of course, we were a little bit afraid what will happen. First of all, we made a really good communication tool and strategy, because we identify the heavy Champions League user. We identify every set-top box they used and they watched the Champions League more than twice per week, and we connected in directly, and we offered them some special advantage. And then we bought other league. We bought Bundesliga, La Liga, and other leagues as a replacement. We very improve our VOD library with films and series looking very well, and this works as some kind of compensation or something like this. And answering your churn question, it was absolutely not significant. Maybe the reason was that Orange and O2 offered the possibility to buy these Champions League matches on one-day basis. So it are the open door in Slovak and Czech market to see these Champions League matches without changing the telecommunication operator. And honestly, this helped us. So churn was not significant. Yes, we lose some kind of subscribers, but it was really not significant. And our growing trend at all will not remain.
Okay, very interesting. Now we almost have only 15 minutes left already. Time is flying. So maybe I wanted to touch about OTT. Because it's a crucial and hot topic right now and for a few years already. So how do you integrate OTT in your strategy? Do you offer all the sports content you have on linear channel on your OTT platform or more? And how you try to monetize it, and how is OTT penetration is in your respective markets? So Alan, to start.
We see obviously in the last years the rising attractiveness of OTT platforms in the Czech and Slovak market, in worldwide, even small localized versions of platforms who are offering certain kind of OTT service. We have our own OTT platform called Voyo, where we focusing on our own content and sport. Voyo is not only producing the content we broadcasting linear, but also it offers additional content in big events. So we use that quite successfully in Wimbledon, for example, past years when we broadcasted Wimbledon. So we offered, we use it quite successfully in European League, where we can offer beside the games of Czech or Slovak teams some other attractive games. We can use it also in NHL or NBA when, for example, in NBA for Christmas games, where there are simultaneously many games at one time. So that is the potential we put our strategy on, and that works. I mean, that empowers the quality of our product, and obviously gives additional service to the viewers, which perfectly fits in the framework and scenario of nowadays sport scene.
Okay, thank you. And Andrej, maybe also for you as a telco, does it make sense to offer all the content available on OTT while you have also fixed networks? So how do you monetize it, and which content do you offer or offer not?
We really appreciate Voyo as a very good product. I'm watching this very often because I have a Czech access. Yeah. But we have something call it similar. We have Magio Go and T-Mobile Go product, which works on the principle of mirroring our linear offer in this Go space. With other words, all linear channels, including sport channels that are in the linear offer, are available on the T-Mobile Go or Magio Go offer, and it's possible to watch them on the second screen, mobile phone, tablet, PC, you name it. And we are using these advantages of Go technology. For instance, as Alan said, we have, as mentioned, 3 Digi sport channels. But on the Go basis, we have 10 Go channels, and the remaining 7 are exactly these ad hoc or pop-up channels that that have been open only in case of simultaneous broadcasting of football, at least, or other sports. For instance, if during a weekend are running 3 football matches at the same time, we are one of them, the best choice, giving on our Eurosport channels. Digi Sport channels, and the rest of the Digi Sport 4 till 10 depends on the demand of the everyday. So for us is the OTT something like additional service. Regarding the prices, our OTT product is on this mirroring basis for free for our subscribers. So if you are paying our linear subscription, we have 3 packages, ML and XL, and if you have one of them, you automatically receive the entire Go portfolio mirroring your linear offer on the Go basis without any additional payment.
Okay, interesting.
I would add also to this, for example, some of the leagues like this January, mentioning again NBA, they start to develop a program called NBA 360. And that was simultaneously broadcasted 9 games altogether, also linked to each other. And for this kind of broadcasting is OTT as a very good supplement in order to show all the games. And on linear, you are switching from one game to another game. It was a kind of experience, pretty messy, but they learning from this, and they are going to introduce a higher stage of this broadcasting model in the next season. So not only us, but also the brands with we are collaborating are offering a kind of new ways how to use and combine OTT and linear broadcasting, which is pretty interesting, I must say.
Trying to understand the behavior of the viewers, we made really interesting research, and we uncover even the men, the group of men that are watching on the linear screen one match, and parallelly of that they have on 3 mobile devices the other matches. They are watching all these matches together. I can't understand how it is possible, but definitely there are some really heavy target group they are using this kind of advantage.
Nice.
And Alan, since you were talking about the NBA and also obviously about OTT, about the NBA League Pass, so it's a growing trend and more rights owners and leagues are launching their OTT product, OTT D2C product directly. So do you perceive it as a threat for you as a channel? That maybe at some point they will only broadcast through their own channels, or or do you think it's more complementary to serve super fans' needs, or what's your take
Well,
on
it
that?
depends on a market, because in our markets, I think it's not so yet well established or significantly promoted, because although we are one of the most sport-wise overcrowded markets in Europe, we are still small. It's different from France, from your country, where I got that there are 1 million subscribers to the NBA League Pass, and that was one of the reasons when they placed their global games to Paris and not to London this year. But coming back to your question,
And we thank them for that.
I think that it offers a good examples for an offer to core funds. So we have to view, and as Andrej mentioned, they monitor the structure and the building up the viewership. There are different sort of groups. The core funds would obviously would appreciate the best possible product. So for them, such a D2C offer might be a solution. But still, I think most of the funds on the market are interested in watching the actual live game without any other interruptions and without any shortages. It depends. I think it's inevitable future. But it will grow not so fast as we might think.
Okay, interesting. And about that, Andrej, maybe since Slovak Telekom and T-Mobile are telcos, maybe as an aggregator, because you want to offer the most content possible to your TV customers, do you consider it as a threat or an opportunity to have new partners to integrate and bundle it into your TV packages?
Of course, maybe one two sentences to the B2C solution. We of course analyze these impacts on our business, and from our perspective, even if we know that there is some potential, of course it is, but our strategy is not to sell our sport content on this kind of platform, but our strategy is to somehow convince to other customers from other operators to go to us and then bundle them to our other mobile and fixed packages, because all analysis shows that any kind of business case based on B2C basis. Again, we know that some potential there is, but from our perspective, it's better to somehow put the subscribers in our house at all.
Interesting. Alan, we have a question from Vlastimil Lakatos. So do you want to address it? So it's about when Voyo as a VOD product will be prepared for a B2B product via operator services?
Right. Well, I'm not really the right person to answer this question, but thank you for this. It's interesting. I think we will see in near future how it goes, because as you know, we are now in period when we are looking in some new strategy in our development, getting new owners soon. and that will be then it will be probably define the strategy even for this field, how Voyo would expand or how Voyo would be prepared for B2B, or if it would stay as an exclusive OTT platform just for our purposes. So it's too early to answer this question, unfortunately. Sorry.
And maybe Andrej, I'm sure you have also a word to say about what's going to happen in the next month between Nova, CME, and PPF.
That's $1,000,000 question. What we know now that European Committee definitely allowed this merge. What was not surprise to us, but honestly, we are a little bit surprising that European Commission allowed this merge unconditionally, so without any potential limitation. What means that CME / PPF have open hands, do everything on the market, and honestly, if I were dreaming during the night and putting me on the shoes of PPF, and CME management, I can imagine incredible steps how to collect the market, and how to make the steps. They could be really a threat to the others. Of course, I will be not the concrete now, but we are a little bit curious how it happened in next months, maybe next years.
Okay, we won't talk more than this about this topic, of course. So we have 2 minutes left. So maybe to end the discussion, something about COVID, because that's also why we're on our webcams from home right now and not in Berlin in real life. So how has COVID impacted your channels? Did you create new content? Did the viewership decrease? Did you promote some, I don't know, new behind the scene documentaries or esports content? So how did you overcome the lack of live events? Alan, maybe?
We didn't see, however, it's a very difficult situation which we never faced before. We didn't see a significant drop in pay TV's numbers over last months. But obviously what we saw was the change of the content which we could offer. All the sport brands or the leagues we are broadcasting were offering us additional content. So we try to get out of it the most for the viewers to bring in the attention. Even we couldn't broadcast the live sport, which for sport channels is little bit awkward, but a new experience brought in a new concepts. So I can mention, for example, that we got an offer from NHL some games which were not available in the multi-feed, in the international multi-feed during the season. The same with NBA. We put them in series for the fans, like you're able to get a fiction series on any streaming platform, and we get them commented by the actual actors, so the Czech players who were involved in these games. And that was an additional content which altogether put a very nice bundle, and that got good attention and good, I think, replacement for the unavailable sport live events. So that's what we did, and it gave us also some kind of strategy for the future, how we can develop our.
Andrej, if you want to add the final words of this panel.
Bearing in mind to COVID back, bearing in mind our channels and sports, we didn't recognize any significant changes, taking in consideration viewership. What we really did recognize is the drop in our internet connection capacity and internet connection activity, because most of people are working from home and are using the internet different way as before. So from this perspective, we we was forced to somehow test capacity of our network, but we are happy that it still remain, and we are ready to offer very good services, taking in consideration our internet and our mobile connection. Back to television, we really didn't recognize any significant changes. Our subscribers perspective is growing on the basis business as usual, following our IPF targets. So we are happy that we are surviving till now. We are surviving this corona crisis relatively in a good shape.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you for your time, and thank you for this fruitful discussion. I hope the audience will have enjoyed it. And just for the audience, I want to remind you that we have our next panel in 30 minutes to talk about the challenges of delivering sports directly to consumers with panelists from DAZN, beIN Media Group, and Canal+. Alan and Andrej, thanks again. And have all a nice day.
Thank you all of them. Thank you, Guillaume. Have a nice day.
Thanks.
Thank you.